Okay, so this is a video trying to show you how to put the triangles onto the original square. So the shape we're trying to get to is something that looks vaguely like this, but more sort of that looking. And you can see that the original square is here, this one here, big square. So the first triangle that I put on is that red one there. And one of the things I want you to notice is that that triangle does not come right to the end of the square. There's a gap here. So that gap should be about 7 centimetres. So you can see that's about 7 centimetres there from the end. And then the eye takes the second triangle here as being continuation that makes the whole square. So that first red triangle becomes the edge of a square with that first red triangle over here. So you can see that as an edge of a new square from there to there. So that's the idea of it. So when you're putting these triangles on, you don't let the triangle go right to the end of the square you've got so far. So the square that I've got to at the moment is this orange one. So I'd be seeing this as one corner and that as another corner. And it's bigger than I can actually show you. And we're going to put on a yellow one next, so it's going to be this one. So I'm going to zoom in a bit, also known as bring the camera further down so you can see that a bit more. And I'm going to be putting on the next triangle onto this orange triangle here. I'm going to put the yellow one. So here's my yellow triangle. I want to make sure that the right angle is further away. So then there's the whole fun of, okay, which is the right angle? So for doing that, if I just match up those sides together, there you can see that if I match that side also matches. But if I did it that way round, if I match that side doesn't match. So that tells me that this is an acute angle and this is a right angle, on the assumption that that one's a right angle. So that is my right angle there. Sometimes you can just pick up the triangle, actually see which is your hypotenuse, but sometimes with some of the shorter ones especially, it's rather hard to tell. So that being my right angle, I've just lost it again, that one, yes, that's definitely right angle. So that's the way that I actually want to put my triangle on for the next one, with my nice white bit in between. So if I just bend that down like that, that's how I'm going to attach it. You can see that all of these have been attached, folded, and then you unfold them so as you get the white in between. And I work from right to left, so I'm going to turn that round with the yellow in front. So now that's how I'm going to attach things. And that should be that I can see that that's coming out there and is not in line, because of this of course is my acute angle, that's my right angle. So now if I look at that, I've got all of these rows there, and here I've got all of those rows there. So what we're going to do is we're going to match up row for row. So here I've got 1, 2 rows are going to be to 1, 2 rows, and there next 2 rows 1, 2 are going to be those 1, 2, and if you match all of those rows up, you should find that you end up, when you get down here, with I'll overlap that orange triangle and have some wobbly, have some yellow, and that yellow should come to an end somewhere such that here there's a whole load where I'm not actually got any yellow attached to it, and that should be about 7 centimetres if all is well. Let's have a look. So I'm expecting it to finish, yeah, about where the white is there. So that's the idea. So then how to attach it? We need some white yarn. Here's some white yarn, and I need my crochet hook. That's my crochet hook. So let's start over here, and it's very simple indeed. I don't even bother doing a knot. I just stuff somewhere there, go through both of them and pull some white yarn through. Let's see what's happening there. Here comes the white yarn. There we are. I've now caught some yellow as well. There we are. There we are. Some white yarn. So there we are. Now I need to work out which is my working yarn, which is my tail. That's my tail. Get rid of it. That's my working yarn. So now I'll just, that's it. There we are. We're off now. So that's my first row to row. So if I then go for the second row here and the second row there, it goes nicely through a hole, and I can just pull through and do a stitch. And there's my second row attached. It's as simple as that. Then the third one, so just find a convenient hole, make sure it's gone through the right bit of the orange. Eventually it sort of sorts itself out. Also, it doesn't help if you're trying to hold it in such a way that a camera can see it. And through, and you just keep doing that all the way along. Okay, so I've now gone all the way from that very beginning bit, which I'm now thinking could have done with an extra sticks, but never mind, all the way along, and I'm just coming to the end of the orange bit here. The whole idea is that if I fold it over that way, I hope you can see that the lines are staying. So for that line, that line, that line, that line. So if you're in any doubt as you go along, you can just turn it over here and make sure that you're keeping your lines together. You can see that just that feeling of all those little holes going straight across there. So that means this thing's going well. Once I get down to, here are the 2 stitch bits with the line, 2 stitch line, 2 stitch line. Once I get down to the 1 stitch, it becomes a bit more of a free-for-all, and just sort of keep going. So now I know that I'm aiming for this yellow bit to finish somewhere around here, because that's my 7 centimeters in. If you do a different size, obviously it'll be an all-in ratio. So 7, we're talking about somewhere around here. I want all of the yellow to end, which is looking quite good. There we are, that's all right. So really more of a free-for-all here now. Let's just get that going again. So here I'm with my orange bit and just sticking things in and seeing what happens. Whoops, what happens is I fall out, and then when we get to the end of the orange, and now there's also a great feeling of sort of you've got to leave some orange showing, but you haven't really. You may find it all sort of disappears in the white, and that's okay too. So I'm now at the stage where I'm running out of orange. So the next one I think might be my last bit that actually hammers into somewhere around the orange bit, but it's very much make it up as you go along. Oops, I didn't pull through the last one. Look. What am I doing? There we are. Then that last one. So now I'm run out of orange, and it's just me, the yellow and the white. So from here on in, we're going to go for each white stitch is a blob. Now I've been doing probably about 2 stitches to the row. So each row here is, there you are, it's a very good example. In fact, you see there's 2 stitches, and that was a row that I did, and then there's the next, and there's 2 stitches. So we're talking about sort of going into the blobby bit and then into the hole. So blobby bit, and then I'm going to go for, now this is where, I don't know if you can be able to see, I've got all of those white stitches. So I've gone through middle of row, and now I'm going to go for the next white stitch I haven't used. So that white stitch has been used. I'm going to go under that white stitch and pull up, and then I'm going to go for the hole between. I go for the next white stitch, so that white stitch has been used. Can you see? You may not be able to. That's the next white stitch. Always, 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 as ever with crochet, apart from your very, very first line, I'm looking for going under 2 bits of thread to go under a stitch. Then in the middle of the next blob and under the next white stitch, then the bit between, and that one's been used, so that's the next white stitch. Then that's a middle, so I want to go through the whole bit. Now that's that one there. And probably my last bit of yellow just through there somewhere. Whoops. I'll do. And that can go through there. So now I've come to the end of my yellow triangle. If I can get the thing through. There we are. I've now got to get to the end of this triangle here. So now I want to do white stitches all the way along here, but I've got nothing to actually stitch onto, so I'm just going under, and again I don't know if you can get this into focus. I'm just going under there, and each stitch I'm doing a white stitch on top. Is that actually focusing in properly? So I'm seeing all those little V's, and I'm just doing those little holes there and just doing white stitches just so as the line of white is continued all the way along like that. Yeah, there we are. And when I get to the end, it's all just single crochet all the way along. Oops, get in there. When I get to the end, if I get to the end, there it is. Then going around the corner, of course, if I go back in there, I now want the next yellow one on. So I've got this yellow one here, which is all fine, the hunky-dory, and I want to put my next yellow one on, which I haven't actually taken the markers off of yet, but it's quite useful having them on actually, because that says it's the hypotenuse, so I know that's the side I want. I haven't actually finished that corner off either, it doesn't matter, let's put it on anyway. So that corner's my right angle, because I know that the ones with the markers are the ones where I was doing increases, so that must be my hypotenuse. So if I actually put that to that, I can turn the corner and we start putting the next one on straight away, which is rather nice because this means off we go again. So going straight into that hole again and going through a bit of that. Off we go, putting on triangle number 2. So this is my first row. And then the hole between the rows. Oops, sorry, I'm coming off camera, it doesn't help. So all the way I'm trying to keep the rows together, so right in the middle of it, plutch in the blobby bit, matches to, here's the second row, right in the blobby bit. Put it through, And then we've got the holes between the rows and the holes between the rows. You see this hole between the row? I don't know if you can. And so we go along the next one and keep going until we've got everything in. So there's round. One of the joys, of course, of crochet is when you go wrong, it doesn't matter. Now this is wrong that I've been telling you how to go around the corner, because look, this has got my white bit on the back, and I want the white bit on the front, where all the rest of the white bits are. So this is wrong, and all you need to do is pull the thread, and it all comes undone. So if I do that until the yellow one's not on anymore, I can put my hook back in there, and it's as if I hadn't done that bit. Come on, there we are. Throw it around, and then we try again, but with the yellow in front of the orange instead of behind, and then it should all work. So the joys of crochet, that you can go wrong and sort out the mess. So let's try again. Now here, if my yellow is in front of my orange, whoops, I've come down there, there we are, yellow in front of my orange, gone off screen, I'm good at that. Then that bit between the two rows becomes, that's my first row, so that's the bit between, oops, that's the bit between the first rows. And then blobby, second row. And this time I hope it'll actually be right, so we can find out in a minute. And if not, I just undo it and do it again. I'm not putting myself forward as being an amazing crochet person. I'm just someone who enjoys playing around. There we are. Look, now my back bit is with all the back bits, and my front bits with all of my front bits. So this is better. And still the yellow goes across like that. So that's the correction for going around a corner. I'll carry on and stop trying to be in front of a camera.